Welcome to a Bestow TV production. If you enjoy our content, please click the subscribe button. To get notifications of new releases, ring that bell. Thank you, and away we go.
How did the mystic arts, how'd they affect you? How'd they affect your mentality?
Well, my cosmic awareness has definitely heightened. I'm able to sense danger, and I'm able to sense any rift in the dimensions.
Bestow Productions presents Creative Continuity at Baltimore Comic Con 2013. Get the latest news directly from your favorite artists, writers, and a few surprises. Tune in for Creative Continuity's coverage of Baltimore Comic Con. We bring the convention to you.
Do you sense any danger here? Anything?
I sense some danger coming tomorrow at the costume contest, definitely.
We're here at Baltimore Comic Con 2013 talking with the infamous Mr. Mark Waid. How have the fans been?
They've been amazing. I mean, everybody's bringing up Daredevil, everybody's bringing up Hulk, and more than that, people are talking to me about Thrillbent, which is the digital comic site I'm doing. Thrillbent.com. Come there. Free comics every day. And they're coming up, they're very excited about what we're doing. And you know, fans are always pleasant at these things, but really at this one especially, they're just so sweet, and they're a reminder that this is why you do what you do. It's just because people enjoy what your work is.
What have you been enjoying doing most between digital at Thrillbent or maybe the Marvel stuff?
In order to do everything, I've sort of got to segregate my days so that, like, you know, Wednesday is like just Thrillbent day or whatever. But what that means is that then when I sit down on like a Thursday or a Friday and write Daredevil, it feels really great because I don't. It's not something I'm doing like chipping away at every day. Instead, I kind of get to dive in head first and really spend the whole day in that world, and it's fun. Like, I really like immersing myself like that.
Is it the psychology of him or the character?
Nah, you know, it's the power set. It's the idea that, well, it's two things. It's the idea that it fascinates me that you're blind and yet you have all these other compensatory senses. And I always, whenever I'm in a new place or in a new, like some new environment, I always think to myself, wow, how would Matt Murdock perceive this? But beyond that, it's also that we have a commonality in that he has real issues with, on top of the blindness stuff, he has real issues with depression. He always has, and real sort of issues with a very bleak life that he's had. And I admire anyone who has a chronic condition like that and perseveres over it. That to me is heroism, is not just succumbing to darkness and succumbing to cynicism and succumbing to sort of that black worldview, but instead triumphing over it.
Your first Justice League with Black Canary and stuff?
Yeah.
How did you get work on that?
I honestly, I got really lucky. I was at DC Comics as an editor from 87 to 89. Mm-hmm. And so that opened up a lot of doors for me. I didn't take the job to go freelance. I figured I'd be an editor forever. But once I went freelance, I made all the connections up there, and everybody up there knew I was a pretty decent human being. Maybe I was still learning how to write, but I meant well. And so Brian Augustin, who was my best friend up there and my editor, gave me this to do and that to do and a little thing here and a little thing there. And before you know it, you know, they gave me Flash because the TV show had just been canceled and they figured the book wouldn't be around much longer. And they gave it to me, and they let Brian and I do whatever we wanted to do. And I just got lucky then, and I've never had to look for work since. Which
of the Flashes is maybe your favorite?
Wally West, yeah. Because he's the first comic. I mean, this is hard to remember now after Bucky has come back and after Nightwing has become Batman. But Wally West was the very first comic book sidekick to actually really live the role. He was the first one to actually fulfill the promise and become the hero that his mentor was, rather than just another superhero.
How do you like working on the Hulk?
I like it a lot. Again, it's not something I ever thought I would do, but getting into it, it becomes fascinating. I mean, really, the whole concept of Bruce Banner sort of deciding, I'm tired of just trying to make the Hulk go away. I can't make the Hulk go away no matter what I do, so maybe I should spend my time and energy doing better things for the world. I mean, it really kind of came out of the fact that we always talk about Banner and Hank Pym and Tony Stark and Reed Richards being like this big group of scientists, but I can't think of any time as a reader that I've ever seen Bruce Banner do anything other than try to cure the Hulk. And I thought it'd be more interesting to see him go in a different direction and turn his energy some other way.
Do you think that your Hulk, I've seen some of your Hulk ideas present in maybe some of the Marvel films. I mean, in the Avengers, I mean, he's basically, admitting finally that he has to, live with it.
Yeah, he has to live with it. Actually, I mean, I came up with my concept of that independently,
Okay.
but what was cool is that I wasn't sure if Marvel would go for that, and when I turned in my proposal, Tom Brevoort, who's the executive editor there, said, look, he said, I can't tell you anything about the movie, I'm not allowed to, but just trust me when I say you're right on the right wavelength. So that was good.
How have you enjoyed the portrayals of those characters, just throughout the pantheon of...
in film?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's incredible. I mean, again, I can't believe I live in a world where I get to see a movie with the Howling Commandos. It's good. This is not supposed to be. That's great.
How do you feel about maybe we talked about Daredevil a little bit. How do you feel about maybe Daredevil now as Batman?
You know what? I'm okay with it. Look, it's Ben Affleck has Ben Affleck, and everybody gets better. Everybody gets better as an actor. And I was around when Michael Keaton was cast as Batman, and everybody was setting their hair on fire and thinking it was the end of the world, and that turned out just fine. So we'll see.
Which Batman do you prefer, probably, in that pantheon of range?
The Adam West one, but that's just me personally. But I like the Nolan stuff is great. I mean, I really do. So we'll see.
How'd your relationship, if you don't mind me asking, kind of dissolve with? DC
it's just hard to say. It just became a place of editorial dictation, and it just became a place where I didn't feel comfortable with the darkness and the cynicism and the relentless negativity of the characters. At the same time, Marvel was very good about just saying, look, come do whatever you want to do. Yeah. Like if you want to make Daredevil a superhero book again for the first time in 30 years, take a shot at it. If you want to take something with a Hulk, do that. And again, I'm not saying I get complete free reign, because I know that it's somebody else's toy box and I have to play with their toys. But they still, within that context, I kind of get to do. They let me have my head, if you will. They let me do what I want to do.
Do you think that puts in context all the editorial difficulties that DC has been going through recently?
Yeah, because the thing is, here's the thing, and no one understands this. It's if you're an editor, it is not your job to make the writer or artist tell a specific story. Your job as an editor is to help them tell the story that they are passionate about telling. And if that means that you don't like what comes out, then you get rid of the creative people and you find somebody else. But editors are not writers. That is, the editors are not artists. Editors are producers, if you will. They are the ones who make sure that all the pieces are in place. And yes, they have to be custodians of the characters. They have to make sure that nobody goes too far and breaks the toys. But at the same time, I want to say to all young freelancers out there, it's not supposed to be like this. You're supposed to be able to have a voice in your work. You're supposed to be able to have some enjoyment, and that's how you get the best material. Because there's a couple of things that are happening at DC now that are pretty good, but by and large, and I'm not just saying this because I'm doing a lot of Marvel work. I defy anybody to find me 3 DC comics that are as good as any random 3 Marvel comics at this point.
What else do you have coming up, sir?
Let's see. It's got Hulk. We talked about Daredevil. Thrillbent we talked about. Green Hornet, which I'm still doing every month for Dynamite. And I have a graphic novel coming out at the end of November called Shadow Walk from Legendary that I'm doing with Max Brooks, who is the author of World War Z. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. I'm sure there's more, but Spirit Rocketeer is still coming out. Man, I'm busy. I just opened a store. I've bought a retail store, bought 2 retail stores. Wow, I need to slow down.
You teamed up with Art and Franco.
Art and Franco, yeah, exactly. It's like the image of brick and mortars. It's like the Image Comics of brick and mortar. All these creators are opening up their own comic stores, and that's part of my world domination plan. But I really should build in some nap time. So
I appreciate it a lot, sir. Thank you very much, Mr. Waid.
My pleasure, absolutely, anytime.
This has been Tommy Zimmer for Creative Continuity.
Take 1. Bestow Productions presents Creative Continuity at New York Comic Con 2013.
He's a genius. As you spell that with a J?
We're not supposed to say, but don't.
Speaking at the Dark Horse booth, speaking with Mass Effect writer and video game Mass Effect expert, Mr. Mac Walter.
I like this. I'm going to keep pointing just so it's going to look ridiculous if you don't put a graphic.
We bring the convention to you.
Shut up and take my money.
Wherever Wally West is, he's safe. He's safe from being screwed with. So people say, well, you haven't brought Wally West back yet. Good, good, good.
Watch Creative Continuity, Codtoons, Con Rewind, Mr. Lobo Does, and more on this channel.
Creative Continuity. We bring the convention to you.